What's up, everyone? Hope you all are doing well. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Nick. I am a 14-year recovering opiate addict. I started off when I was about 18 and a half, 19 years old. Just for some context, when I had lost my son and had some charges pressed on me. Back at the time, I was pretty young and dumb and immature, as I'm sure a lot of us are at that age. So fast forward now, 14 years later, here I am, 32 years old, and in recovery. As of today, November 14th, 2021, I'm 44 days clean. Thank you. And I just finally found my own path, and so today I'm trying to help lead other people to finding recovery and finding their own way and whatever works best for them. Hopefully, they can pull themselves out of the struggle just like I did. So first off, if you could please like, share, follow my page. You can also find me on Instagram at Recovery Is My Lifestyle, YouTube Recovery Lifestyle, and on SoundCloud for Recovery Lifestyle. Today what I wanted to share was how I started my journey towards recovery, and hopefully maybe you can take what worked for me and apply it to your own situation and what works best for you. So I am a little uncomfortable doing this video. This is my first video that I'm shooting, but part of recovery is doing uncomfortable work, and sharing your story and trying to help other addicts in recovery. So that's part of the reason I'm doing this. Along with, I am also wanting to become a recovery coach and a future peer support counselor. I've already taken 2 of the 9 prerequisite tests. And then hopefully within about a year I'll be state certified for Washington State as a peer support counselor. So for me, what really clicked was I've always wanted to change. There's been a couple times where I've been able to get clean, had a little bit of clean time under my belt, relapsed, but I never really gave it my all, and deep down inside, part of me always knew that I wasn't done when I wasn't. I had to get my mind right. That's one of the biggest keys, I think, to recovery, is getting your mind right, because I've done the AA, I've done NA, I've been in and out of inpatients and outpatients, and what's worked for me and what hasn't, and this is my first time actually being able to be on the streets, coming straight out of addiction and quitting on my own. So it takes a lot of strength. For those of you who are in active addiction, how hard that is. So yeah, I'll get to exactly a little bit more on how I journeyed into my recovery and how I made it so far to these 44 days, and my next upcoming vids. So hopefully you guys continue to watch. But the big thing, like I said, was getting my mind right. I had to start thinking and acting differently. I had to change the people who I was hanging out with. Just my whole mentality, everything about my whole life. I was stuck in addiction and everything that came with it. My life was nothing but addiction, as I'm sure you can imagine after 14 years. So I began cutting back my use because I knew I wanted to quit. I had to set some goals, and so I started making a plan. I started cutting back. I was using anywhere from a teener to a ball a day, which is a lot, for somebody who can't really afford it or doesn't have a job, and definitely isn't rich. So I was having to do everything I could to get the money, as I'm sure a lot of you know what comes with that lifestyle. I'm sure as I get further into my recovery and my journey along this podcast and Instagram and everything, I'll get further into detail of where I've been and what I've done. And you guys will learn a little bit more about me, my life, and what I've gone through and overcame. And hopefully I can hear and learn about some of your guys' as well. So anyways, I went from using about a teener to a ball a day, and I got my use down to where I was using about a half gram a day. At that point, I knew I was ready to make a change. I was starting to make plans and goals, and I was really starting to build the mentality around that, about having to change, about what all that entailed, what it was going to take, because this is my first time trying to do it, and I wasn't sure exactly how to, because I've never succeeded before. But I knew that I was ready to change, and I knew that it was time for me to do something different. And so this time, that's what I did. And I wasn't fully committed yet, but I knew in my heart that it was time. I knew I was ready to give it a good chance and a good effort. I just knew I wasn't going to be able to do it alone, and so I kind of let myself be vulnerable, and I started asking for help and advice, and doing what I could to figure out how I can get clean from other addicts who I know who are clean at this time, and through resources that were available to me at the time. So like I said, I cut back my use. I started getting my mind right. I started listening to a lot of motivational videos, started changing my sleeping and eating habits, started trying to push myself a little bit more, and really developing and getting myself ready for the process of quitting. And like I said, I just pounded these motivational videos into my head. I listened to a lot of Gary Vaynerchuk, Les Brown, Eric Thomas, David Goggins. These are all people, who have overcame and become successful, their own different situations, and I wanted to take their success and see what they had done and try to apply it to my own life and recovery. So what I did was I decided to go ahead and make the change. I cut back. I just got my mindset changed. I started doing things a little bit differently. I got out of the streets. I stopped hanging around those kinds of people, and really decided to try to change my life. And then that's when I found the methadone clinic. And I didn't know if it was going to be kind of like Suboxone, which for me wasn't really the best thing. I'm not knocking Suboxone, because for some people it does work, and that might even be a good route for you. Maybe it might work. For me, it wasn't the best thing. It didn't work for me. However, methadone, I wanted to give it a chance, along with the mindset and everything else. I think it was finally time to do something different. So I kind of stuck with it. They started me off on 40 milligrams of methadone, and kept telling me, like at a certain point, you'll get to a point where you'll hit a blocking dose, and you won't feel the certain way anymore, and you won't have the withdrawals, and you won't have cravings. And if you can get through that, and you can push yourself, and you really try to build a new life, that's what the methadone program is all about. It's all about finding a new way to live your life and get away from the streets. I understand some people are going to see it as substituting. Hey, if that's what you want to think, that's what you want to think, that's cool. For me, it's worked. I'm not using heroin, and I got off the streets, doing it on my own. It wasn't something that's even a question to me of whether it's good or bad. It worked. It got me off of heroin. So it might work for other people, it might not. Definitely worth a shot. So anyways, I started doing the whole methadone program. I stuck with it. They were very cool and understanding. They had realistic expectations for me coming into the program. As in, I didn't have to be clean first. I didn't have to have 24 hours sober or anything. Well, I guess I did. They wanted me to have 24 hours, or be in withdrawal when I came in, so they can help with my dose. So, I realistically waited probably 15 hours. That was about as long as I could make it. And I went in there, and was withdrawing. And so they were cool. Like I said, they let me use throughout the program while I was starting, and they didn't have unrealistic expectations. So while my dose went up and I continued to work on my mentality and, you know, setting goals and making progress, I started to finally hit a dose that felt good for me, to where I wasn't feeling as bad, and I started pushing myself. Hey, I want to smoke, but can I push myself another hour? Can I push myself 2 more hours? And every time I did, I would, you know, give myself a little pat on the back, because as a heroin addict, you know, that's a long time. This shit sucks. But anyways, I would push myself that little bit of extra time. I was able to do it, and finally, you know, I got to the point where I was on probably about 120 milligrams, 130 milligrams, and I wasn't really withdrawing too bad. And I decided I had pushed myself 24 hours finally, and I decided to stick with it. And my son, who regretfully I'm not in his life, you know, his birthday was coming up November 12th, and you know, I thought it'd be really cool, even if I don't get to see him, to be sober for his birthday, along with, you know, finally getting my life together and doing things right. I can finally take the steps needed to get him back. You know, I felt that staying away from him was almost for the better in a way, and I loved him more for that, because I didn't want to be in and out of his life. I felt that would be harmful to him. And you know, with me and in and out of my addiction and what comes around it, the lifestyle and everything else, it was hard for me to stay away. But at the same time, you know, time also just went by fast, and you know, time flew by, and next thing I know, it's been fucking years and I haven't seen my son. And you know, it's not that I didn't think about him or care or anything every fucking single day, multiple times a day. I just was in my addiction, you know, and you know how it is. It's like a big blur. Years just kind of blend together. Next thing you know, your fucking life is gone, you know, and I didn't want it to stay like that. I didn't want it to keep being like that. And so I decided to make the changes, you know. November 1st, 2021, that was when I had made my 24 hours, and you know, I decided, hey, I'm done. I'm not doing this no more, and I'm going to dedicate my life to recovery and changing and trying to help other people. And I want to get my son back. You know, that's my biggest thing right there, is getting my kid back. I want to be able to make my parents happy, because my mom and dad are, you know, my biggest advocates, even through my addiction and all the hell I put them through. And I was a piece of shit. So, I mean, take it from me. If I can recover, believe me, I'm sure you can too. You know, actually not even sure, I know for a damn fact you can. You just gotta really want it. And you got, you know, it takes effort, it takes work, you know, and change, and you know, doing all that, you know, withdrawing, all that is painful, but regret is even more painful. So it's all about where you want to be, what you want out of your life. I got some more tips and stuff on what's working for me. Like I said, today I'm 44 days clean. It's December 14th, you know, and tomorrow's vid I'll have a little bit more in depth on methadone, and you know, what I was doing exactly, more of my plan and how I was going through, and hopefully you can take it and apply it to your recovery. And you know, I hope you guys can get sober too, and maybe we can do this together, you know. So please like, share, follow my content, look at my page, and you know, see what other pages I have going right now. I should have a podcast here coming soon. I gotta start creating a lot more content for, you know, for me and for you guys. So I look forward to that, and hopefully you guys do too, and this journey that we're gonna be on together of a recovery. So thanks a lot, guys. Hope you have a good day. Let's get sober together.